Sometimes before some of the things that I noticed that were weird with him was sometimes before the parties he would come over and Jeffrey Epstein and himself would kind of banter back and forth, and he was very, Donald Trump was very racist. He said a lot of racist things. Like there was a lot of comments towards Mr. Epstein about, being Jewish, and called him a Jew bastard, also referred to, people of Hispanic or, Hispanic name, they called them spics. He also loved to call black people niggers, and Arabic people he called sand niggers. The time that I met Jeffrey Epstein, he did try to force himself inside of me without getting the go-ahead or anything, and then it was probably about the third or fourth party is when he basically, I came to this interview on my free will. Yes, everything that I say at this interview will be the truth. I met Donald Trump at some parties I attend that I was working for Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. There was about 3 or 4 times that I had encounters with Donald Trump. I was 13. The first time that I met Donald Trump was at a party at Jeffrey Epstein's mansion. There was an orgy going on, and he was kind of watching off in the distance. And he basically asked if I could come over and give him a hand job, and I didn't, I didn't think that was my responsibility, but my recruiter told me that I needed to do it. Sorry, this is a little difficult, but before I gave him a hand job, he kind of slapped my hand away and said, you need to use a glove. And the recruiter, he ran over and handed me a glove and said, no one touches Mr. Trump's penis without a glove. And then immediately after, he had an orgasm, he left, and I didn't see him again at that party. And she was recruiting the girls to come to these parties. And they all looked, most of them were, my age. There was, maybe a couple girls that were maybe 14 or 15, but it seemed to me like we were all very young, so. Jeffrey Epstein knew that I was 13 years old. When he interviewed me, he asked me to get down to my bra, just my panties, and I thought that was weird, but modeling, maybe it was something about my figure. And he basically said, well, you'll do, I'm sure that you'll fit pretty nicely here. And then he tried to basically slip himself inside of me. Because at that point in time, I still believed that there was models, and then there was the girls that did that. Like, I thought there was a separation. And as far as Donald Trump, he knew that I was 13, and I believe that Tiffany told him he seemed to take a liking to me because I was I was so young, and I was also a virgin. So there was a blonde wig that she said that looked great on me. So I wore that wig, and Donald Trump had specifically asked about me because I remind him of his daughter, and she said, well, she's 13 as well. So he knew the first time that he saw me, but he took a liking to me because I look like his daughter. And the reason I'm coming out now is I felt that it was my responsibility to come out and tell our country what kind of man this person is.
You're so disgusting. You know what? It's a loving thing for me as a Christian to say that, because I love the innocency of children. I don't want kids to be molested. I want kids to stay innocent. I don't know about you. I love kids. I want them to stay innocent. I want them to be protected. And anyone that wants to hurt them is evil and disgusting, and I want them to die.